That's it. They're looking forward to it. Okay, we'll do one more question. Okay, everybody's pointing at Linda. Okay, Linda.
Me, I'm a beat. Okay, this is for Shelby. I understand you've been actively involved in the city council for several years now. 3 on the council.
4.
4, excuse me. It seems as though you have become a part of the establishment. We have heard nothing from you of the non-transparency of the mayor, and that would include holding an unauthorized closed meeting for the oil trains, for trying to quietly remove the 10 Commandments, and creating an expensive city administrator, which essentially would change the city government. Why would we want to elect you and continue with such non-transparency?
How much time do I have on this? That's a big question. A lot of parts. Okay, I'm going to have to break it down. I'll just address the transparency issue, and that is that all of our meetings, whether they're council meetings, commission meetings, committee meetings, they're all the agendas are publicized. All of the information relevant to the meeting is publicized online days ahead of time. If you're not online, you can go to City Hall and get the physical information. So this is how the City Hall process is transparent. And none of that has changed the time that I've been involved and since forever. So your other question with regards to open meeting law, there was a meeting last December that was publicized in the Bee. It was criticized for being flying in the face of open meeting law, when in fact it actually was not. That was a meeting, you're right, it was on coal and oil train increased rail traffic through our community. And what that meeting was Mayor Logan, Councilwoman Williamson, who is actually acting as, she is the executive director for Lake Pondere Waterkeepers. So those were the 2 city officials that were at that meeting. The rest of them were officials from Pondere, Kootenai, Dover. Sean Keogh was there. There was other state representatives there. There was not a quorum. City business can only happen, city action can only be taken if there is a quorum present. That's why and it has to be well publicized, right? That's why we have our meetings are standardized in the same place, at the same time, with the same procedure. And if we don't have at least 4 people show up, we can't have a meeting and no action can happen. So at that meeting that you're referring to, that was an informational meeting where the officials from these different jurisdictions and from the state were there to discuss the coal and oil train issue, to get a better understanding of how that issue could impact their communities. So what did they do? They brought that information back to City Council, where we had a public meeting, and we could, and from that point, it was, of course, an open, transparent process, and we could act and we could take action from there through a quorum. So as far as the city administrator position, I will say that we had 4 public meetings on that. There was very low turnout, in fact almost no turnout for most of those meetings, where there was an opportunity to comment on that. There was also plenty of coverage of that in the media, in the Bee, in the Reader as well. And after the fact, after the budget hearing was closed, there continued to be a lot of discussion in the community, a lot of criticism in the Bee. I recommended to the mayor that we open this process back up and we do something to include the public into this decision, which, it seemed that the public opinion had shifted into agreeing that this was the right thing for Sandpoint, but the issue was now about transparency. And so she acquiesced and she agreed to my request, and so we created a public meeting, which will be actually November, I think it's going to be November 4th, is where it's scheduled right now. There's going to be a public meeting at City Hall where it will be your opportunity to come meet the potential candidates for the position, to ask them questions, and to be part of the process.
What about the 10 Commandments? It seemed to me that somebody just moved in there to remove them.
Well, and that certainly did not happen. We actually filled the room with, in fact, that was one of the most attended meetings I've ever seen in my time at City Hall. And certainly I think that people got what they wanted there. So.